So today we're kicking off the first of hopefully many video interviews with emerging bands and artists. I'm excited to be sitting down with FreePaysTheSoul, an up-and-coming recording artist, blending the lines between hip hop, pop, and indie music. How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on your podcast.
Amazing, amazing. Great to have you. So before we jump into it, can you tell everybody watching a little bit more about yourself and where the inspiration for Free Pays the Soul comes from?
Absolutely. Free Pays the Soul is not just the artist name I go by, but it's also a movement. For anybody that believes in the underdog, anybody that is a supportive person to their friends and family, believes in kindness, that's like the whole movement behind it. What inspired it is just, at the end of the day, everybody has gifts and everybody has things that they really enjoy doing. If you really think about what pays the soul, like internal, like intrinsic value, for me, it's being on stage and being able to collaborate with musicians and like just create music from all over the world. So when I'm on stage, obviously people have to purchase a ticket to go be entertained. And yeah, like they're giving away something, but little do they know that they're actually feeding my soul because me getting to perform for them is the only thing that pays my soul because that's the thing I love to do the most. So Free Pays the Soul is a movement, my band name, and I really connect as a brand, as an artist. I really connect to that messaging.
Awesome. What do you like the most about performing?
Yeah, so we got a new. This is going to be our second debut album called Pivoting Emotions. It's going to be released on Thursday, April 6th. Traditionally, I like to release my music on Friday, but 6 is my favorite number. So I just had it released on Thursday, April 6th. And what we wanted to do is pretty much just celebrate all the hard work that went behind that. So we're going to be having a EP release party on Saturday, April 15th. All the event coordination and timing and all that stuff is going to be coming out. But anyone that enjoys the music that we've been coming out with is obviously welcome to come. Really trying to do a better job this year in connecting with the fan base that I've been building over the years. And even though now we're miles ahead of the marketing and the technology that artists had back in the day, even when things like Spotify for artists, I can see where people are streaming my music. I can see their demographic, but I don't know who they are. And this year, by being able to connect with actual fans live in their neighborhoods or their neck of the woods performing and getting to meet them at venues, we're also actually drawing them to come and enjoy this kind of music and connect with the band and the movement. So we're really, really stoked about both. Obviously, the EP release on April 6th, as well as actually being able to celebrate all the hard work and the EP release party.
What was the most rewarding experience you've had so far in your past doing shows, concerts, playing for people?
Overall, I mean, there's so much work that goes behind the music. So if you don't get the fulfillment, if you don't really love it, like you won't make it. But I think just like anyone that's played a sport, back in the day or currently playing a sport, there's this, you work so hard in practice to get to the game. So when you're an artist, like you work so hard on creating and writing and distributing and marketing and the whole nine yards. So as an artist, being able to perform it is like the game. It's like the most funnest thing. So some things that I've been really grateful for is after either when I go out and I collaborate with different musicians, like I go out and I'm actually based in the DC area. So when I go out and do like band jams or I do open mic nights, there's other band members that actually attend those. So they have their own band, but they also are like can play their own music. And I think one of the rewarding things is having people come on and after we perform, they're like, "How long did you perform that, or how long did you rehearse that? And we just made it up on the spot. There was like, we took down the guardrails and just kind of had fun with it. And I've had people like after a concert just be like, I really enjoy your music. It helps me, when I go on my walk. I work, a lot of people are working remotely now, so getting to create music for them to either do tasks around the house or just be able to take a break and walk outside, or it's the weekend, I'm gonna go drive to see my friend and 2 hours away, like just them getting to use and like listen and vibe to the music is really rewarding, having them be able to tell me that.
Yeah, man, that fan connection is really something when you get to meet the people in person. I've heard from a lot of artists that, getting to actually put a face to who's listening at home and what the data is saying is really impactful for them and motivational for them to keep going. Bouncing back to your upcoming EP, Pivoting Emotions is coming out on April 6th, and I'm really excited for this project. And I wanted to check and see, what are some of your favorite lyrics from the songs?
There was a lot of thinking that went behind the EP, and not just the cover art and stuff like that, but also like which track goes one, which track goes two, and just starting off with the first one that you mentioned, Don't Want to Wait. This one has a lot of great messaging in it. Um, but if you get one thing away of why I wrote this song, it's pretty much the quote, in life you're never ready, you're just ready enough. Because life is not all sunshine and rainbows, and if you stay on the sidelines too long, like things will just pass, and you learn more by doing and stuff. So in life you're never ready, you're just ready enough, and that's what Don't Want to Wait is about. There's just many times there's situations that you're presented with, you're not fully ready, but you just got to go out there and do the best that you can. And this song talks about how things develop and fit into place through time and action. It has a lot of positive messaging around like perseverance and being persistent and going after what you want in life. Setting yourself free by just thinking less and learning more with action. Great things take time to develop, but you don't have to wait. You can actually start now. And one of the lines in Don't Want to Wait is, I never look back when I see what I want in this life that you could ever want. There's so many things that you could want in this life, right? And that's up to the person, what they find to have value and what they put their time in. But it takes time and many days to make something great come alive. That's just pretty much talking about consistency. Like, for folks that believe in a higher power, whether that's God or Buddha or whatever, like, you know, and I feel like in the universe, like it's kind of like a bridge, right? And you it's kind of like the saying, like, to win the lottery you got to play the lottery ticket. Like you got to meet it halfway. If you don't play, you're not, there's no chance of winning. So if you're not consistent with the things that you love, then the higher power is not gonna, the universe is not gonna give it to you, because you're not taking action on those things. So just kind of being consistent with it. And obviously the end of the song fades out, but I've been waiting too long, but I've been waiting too long, and I don't want to wait, right? So in a nutshell, that's what that track is about. Nostalgia is one of my favorite tracks. I mean, nostalgia blows the roof on a lot of what I feel. My writing, obviously, the more you do it, the better you get. It's kind of like when you turn on a faucet in like a cabin that hasn't been used, right? When you first turn on the faucet, dirty water kind of comes out first, but you keep writing, you keep creating songs, and over time, like, that dirty water turns into clear water. And I think a lot of folks, they don't see the behind the scenes, they don't see the consistency, they don't see how many songs I've actually written. Even though I've released 30 tracks, there's been countless songs. I actually probably should delete a bunch of hard drives, because it was just like, my singing was off, like, and people don't believe me. The people are like, wow, you're so talented. And I wish I could like show them a clip of like when I first started out, because it didn't sound that way. It actually was a lot of time and, practice to kind of get to that level. But nostalgia for me means a lot because it talks about not having to choose sides. Like, you don't have to choose, like, I'm not trying to make this political, but you have to have your own moral code. You don't need to be a Republican or a Democrat. Like, you don't need to choose. Like, you could just be you. And it talks about how in life, like, you get inspired by things that you see, right? The closest thing to your soul is your experiences of what you've seen. So nostalgia talks about, like, whether you know it or not, you've been influenced from the time that you were born and the era that you were born and the all the things that were going around. Like, you're influenced by that. Growing up, I was influenced by not just artists, not just like movies and stuff, but like all that stuff stays kind of like in your subconscious if it's not in the forefront all the time. But you also, not only are nostalgic things happening to you, but you're also giving nostalgic out back out. Like being able to have certain moments with certain people. There's just nostalgia to me is like karma. It's like it's floating around the air. You don't see it. People can kind of identify it, but it's like time travel, right? When I see a show or I hear a piece of music, I can time travel to that time. And not only are we susceptible to feeling nostalgic feelings, wow, like I just had a piece of candy that I had when I was 7 and I used to beg my mom for it. It's also stuff that we're doing now for others to be influenced nostalgically. So I really love the song. It also talks about, obviously, I grew up where I listened to Aaliyah, I listened to Selena, I listened to just a bunch of different artists. So I talk about my heroes, and overall it's just a groovy vibe. It's kind of like encompasses my whole branding and who I am in that song. And it's optimistic. The hook for me, if I see it in my mind and I feel it all the time, like if I'm feeling this way towards a person, towards a goal, towards whatever I do, it's real. And as you know, like you've probably have read or come across like posts of people that are really successful in life. And those successful people, whether they're like famous architects or famous, successful, whatever, like they kept their curiosity in task. You know what I'm saying? So the last line, it says, "If I see it in my mind and I feel it all the time, curiosity's on mine." Yes, I do this all the time. Like I am curious about everything, and that's never gonna go away. And I'll always be giving nostalgic, but I'll always be also playing off of what influenced me growing up.
I think that those two songs, really do highlight, really interesting topics that, you don't hear a lot of in songs nowadays. And it also sort of builds on, that motivational, inspirational, positive messaging that your music really shares. So, sort of going off of that, where does all this optimism come from? Where does, this positive outlook on life come from?
Yeah, I think the positive comes from, it's like a coping mechanism. I think that we haven't really hit on like why the album is called Pivoting Emotions, but this is probably a good segue to that. Is that it's a coping mechanism and it's also like a building mechanism. And the reason for that, so I can kind of make a correlation to it, is you know as a human being, you can't help how you feel, but you can help how you react, right? And what I've learned in my years of living is you just really, when things come, like if someone makes me angry, that doesn't mean that I need to react in a negative way. But he is hurting my feelings or she's hurting my feelings, right? So when emotions, I feel like you can be really successful in this world, by controlling your emotions and learning how to pivot from them. right? So when things like not every day is going to be sunshine and rainbows. So when bad things happen as a coping mechanism, I've learned how to pivot well to not react wrong or make the situation worse, right? So I get all my positivity because it was a coping mechanism. I realized from a young age that, you know, I'm either going to, think positive and let my words, my thoughts aim go and be heard from the universe in a positive light, or I'm gonna be negative and dwell and think negative things. And what you think about, what you talk about, I truly believe manifests somehow, some way. Like everybody wants to be successful or have something good come their way right now, but I really believe that things take time to happen. And I also really believe that like 98% of what's going to happen to you, the universe is going to decide. But the 2% that you as a person have control over is your attitude and how you go about things, right? So if you look at the world in your life as a canvas, 98% of the canvas is going to be drawn, but that 2% of how you control your attitude and stuff, that's the paintbrush. So I'm either going to choose for this thing that bothered me to ruin my day, or I'm going to be like, is this going to matter when I'm 80 years old? Probably not. Like, I am not going to get hurt by this.
Yeah, man, I've always heard this phrase that, if you don't think that you're going to care about it in 5 years, don't care about it for more than 5 minutes.
I love that.
I try to get myself to follow that, but going back to like why you make music, I think that it's really important that not only are you using it as a coping mechanism for yourself, but being able to hear positive messaging, being able to, turn on the radio and hear a song that is, motivating you or inspiring you to do something, um, can really make changes in people's lives.
And to kind of like elaborate on your, the actual question, where does positivity come from? I mean, it's me, it's real. Like I truly believe that. Like you can ask any of my friends or family members, like I'm probably one of the most positive people that they've ever met, and like people tell me that all the time. Like, cuz how do you always stay so positive, and it's not just like, oh, it's just, yeah, it's natural, but it's because I've also trained myself to pivot emotions and make the most of it. And, it's real. Like, I really do believe that. I really do believe that, like, you know, there's actually a quote inside nostalgia, right? Optimistic nature never did nobody harm. Putting love into everything will never be wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like that is me as a brand. Like when as an artist, when you start out, like you gotta go intrinsically inside yourself to figure out who you are as an artist. And I want my music to be positive. I want people that like a little kid who's in middle school, like listening or battling something with his family or something, going to school, and he's listening, like he can listen to something that can support him, or he can embody the music or embody the message to give them kind of hope, to get through. When you're a little kid, like it's a big deal. They're not understanding right now. Like when you're 80 years old, is this going to matter? Like everything that they're currently dealing with is like a big deal, But, I just wanted to create positive, just positive stuff.
What singles have we not heard yet, or what tracks on the project are you most excited to share with us, or you think that what's a song that we should be looking out for when it drops on April 6th?
Every song, again, there's a lot of strategy that went behind the five, the five songs that landed on pivoting emotions. But I think that overall, when someone goes to Google, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, and they want to listen to something, right? They're they know exactly what they want to listen to, right? So I feel like the job of an EP is to, you know, kind of take those feelings. Like if somebody wants to listen to The Weeknd, they know exactly what they're getting. If someone wants to listen to Dua Lipa, they know exactly. Taylor Swift, like, so with this EP, like every song has something for someone, but it blends together in a nice way to like be able to play from song 1 to song 5. And I think, obviously they're all my babies, so I think that every song is a good one. Obviously, there's been a lot of hard work and a lot of songs that didn't make the cut. But I think out of the five, I really love, like, Don't Have Forever is a huge one because I literally traveled the world to like finalize that song. I wasn't happy with it, so I went to Berlin. I came back, like, so like that one's a great song. Like, that has a message we haven't really talked about yet. Don't Want to Wait obviously means a lot, as we talked about. um I Knew What You Knew is like a romantic song, like, when you're kind of single and you meet someone, you already know like this person is someone that you're attracted to, and like there's all these feelings, and then, kind of like, everybody has their own agenda. So just because you both found each other attractive and it might be a one night stand doesn't mean that like that love will be forever. But it can kind of hurt if you're obviously in that lust attractive state. And then European Love, like I mentioned, like I wrote that with my buddy. Shout out to Dudu Greasy out in Florida. But I wrote that with my buddy before we went out to Echo Stage in DC. And it was so true. Like I could have sworn we were driving back from work and he was driving, and I think I saw the girl of my dreams at this bus stop. So we actually drove back to go see her again, and she was gone. Like in the actual lyrics of the song, I talk about that. And because we were going to the Echo Stage, we were having friends come and meet us at his place. So in my mind, as I was improvising to him playing the guitar, I was connecting, like, I really thought, I swear to God, like I was like, that's the girl of my dreams. Like I took that with the fact that we were going to a show and we were trying to find tickets for friends, and it all kind of came together. But if I actually go to that track, like I really love the just like the storytelling of it, and again, it makes you travel. But if I go to the actual song, let me find it real quick. I've been patiently waiting for something like you to come on by. I've been driving through many towns to find something that only the night can bring. There you are waiting for some love to take you, just like my visions take me away. But she's gone. Uh, and I talk about like the bus stop, all that stuff. And I go into, I know that, and now my boy's trying to get me to go out tonight. He's trying to get me to spend a little money. He said, "Don't worry, you'll make that money back one day. It's this time that's really important to relay and die." Like, it was just like so perfect and so raw. And for those tracks, like I actually released the original improv to kind of like take that person back and then see the progression to the studio acoustic. But Pivoting Emotions is just going to have the demo of it, just because we want to be able to start performing these songs live with an actual band. So, I think if you were to ask me like the top three songs, I would say Don't Have Forever, Nostalgia, and Don't Want to Wait. But for me as a person, again, like no one would know that like European Love was probably my most expensive song because I had to travel to like finish the lyrics to this song.
No, it sounds like this entire EP is gonna be a really great listen, and really excited to hearing it again on April 6th when it comes out. So before you wrap up, are there any messages that you want to share with the world? Any shout outs, any final thoughts?
I am in a quest or in a search to find folks that enjoy my music, and I just, I guess if there's anything, if there's people that are in your circle or in your neighborhood that are creating music and creating art, it takes 2 seconds to like help them out by like sharing it or sharing it with friends. And I feel like a lot of folks are willing to share like famous people stuff, but like, a lot of times you say support musicians, people think support as you have to give money to them, and you don't. Like, you just have to be able to share like their art, like all the things that like they just want to share with the world. So I would say, if someone that's in your circle has their music they're trying to push out, if it's good, if you like it, definitely share it, because it goes many ways. And then the other thing too is, like, again, like if you're out there and you've listened to my music and you're a musician yourself and want to collaborate on a project, that is my goal. My goal is to collaborate with folks from all around the world and create awesome music. And at the end of the day, I think what makes me feel good about all this work is that it's not for nothing. Like, it's not that I'm trying to blow up and be like the next, big superstar. For me, it's like, when I'm gone from this planet, like, my music will live on. And whether it's my little niece or my little nephew or a neighbor whose kid knows me or whoever, like, that's my legacy. Like, everything that I'm doing is going to be being played even when I'm gone. So, if you're out there and you want to collaborate, let me know. And if you have artists around you who you really like, you don't need to support them with money. You just got to share their art and make the world go round.
100%. People don't realize how much impact, just retweeting something or, sharing a link on their story can do. So, on that note, can you remind everybody where they can find you online?
Sure. Obviously, I am on anywhere you get your music fix from. So Spotify, iTunes, Amazon. I know some people that still like Pandora. Like, anywhere you get your music from, I'm on. However, when releasing our last EP, Today's Tomorrow, we elected not to post it on iTunes. So we're going to be doing a campaign to release Today's Tomorrow on iTunes. So if you want to get like the full, all the songs, just go to fpts6.com, which will take you to where all the songs are on my Bandcamp page. And if you want to support financially on that, you can do it there. But in Spotify and iTunes, as well as all the other streaming platforms, is where you can listen to it.
Amazing. And we'll have all those links down in the description of the video. So anybody who wants to check out Free Pays the Soul, head down to the description, click the links, go check out his music. Again, share it, post it on your story. You don't know how much of an impact that can make. So again, thank you for sitting down for the first video interview that we've got for DCR. We'll hopefully be having a lot more coming soon with some equally talented artists from all over the DMV, throughout the United States, and hopefully all over the world. So, again, I appreciate you sitting down. Loved having this conversation, and we'll see you on the flip side.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. And we'll see everybody on the flip side.